Ava clutched the stuffed wolf closer. Chapter 1. Ava.
What the hell is wrong with you people? How many times do I have to tell you to take me off your list?
The voice rose in pitch as the man on the other end of the line dropped a few curse words, as if I hadn't been able to tell before how upset he was that I called him in the first place. I winced, biting the inside of my cheek as I held back my own growing frustration for being at the misplaced end of his anger. It wasn't like I was thrilled at having to make collection calls for a living, especially when the people who lagged behind in their payments usually weren't in a place to pay. It was something I could sympathize with, but I wasn't allowed to deviate from the script we were given. "Mr. Travers," I began, trying to push down my own annoyance at being spoken to in such a degrading manner. I was normally able to shrug these types of clients and their more vicious verbiage off, but my head was pounding today, and every muscle in my body felt restless. It was almost like I was getting sick, or my patience had finally hit its limit. "This isn't a general telemarketing call. You owe money to Regan and Sterling for their law services. Is there a different home address I can put on file so we can send another?"
Go find a real job and stop wasting everyone's time,
Mr. Travers interrupted me, glazing over everything I said, likely on purpose. Before I could respond, there was a harsh click on the other end of the phone, and then the dial tone. That cranky bastard had hung up on me. I clenched my teeth. "Thank you, sir. You have a good day, too," I muttered dryly, placing my own phone back in its cradle before rubbing my temples. The light from the window across the room caused my eyes to water as I tried to blink back a searing twinge in my skull. I knew stress. Hell, I scraped by each day because of it. But this was different. I felt nauseated, and Mr. Travers's unwelcome suggestion had struck a sore spot. I would love to find a new job, but right now, I had bills to pay. Like, now. Yesterday, even. As rent had been due last week. It was turning out to be a long day. Then again, every day was a long day here. Working in accounts receivable as a collector for a law firm was about as pleasant as a fork being scraped across a china plate. Being yelled at every day from clients who owed the firm money wasn't high on my bucket list for life, but it kept my bank account in the green. Sometimes. It was exhausting, hunting clients down to pay the money they owed, while being treated like you were the scum on the bottom of their shoe. I guess it was a defense tactic. They were embarrassed that they couldn't pay up, or they were hoping to admonish me into nixing their bill for them entirely. If only the world worked that way. I'd love if someone would nix my bills, too. I'd have to add, "Find bill-axing fairy" to my to-do list. Picking up my phone, I winced inwardly as I looked down at the screen that was now blinking at me. "Happy birthday," my calendar read, adding salt to the wound. At the time of putting the reminder in my calendar, I had simply been trying to block the day off, and had done so in a playful way, but somehow it just felt lonely looking at it now, and even a little pathetic. I held back a sigh, but couldn't stop my eyes from rolling to the ceiling. Somehow, at 21, I had envisioned myself accomplishing more in my life by now. Or having accomplished anything, really. Instead, I felt lost more than ever, sitting in my tiny cubicle in a stark white office with one window at the very back. Regan and Sterling wasn't keen on sharing the light with the lowly worker bees. Not when they had their big lawyers on the upper floors to keep happy. Sitting back, I glanced up to look at Laura, the only other collector the firm had. She looked equally as frustrated as I felt, and I held back a smirk as I caught her responding to someone, her own voice clipped. Maybe it was the full moon coming in a few days. Everyone seemed to be on edge. Catching my eye, she gave a roll of her eyes and then shifted the phone receiver in her hand, pretending to smack herself in the head with it. Laura and I didn't talk much, but she definitely knew how to summarize my day-to-day feelings without